Hey everybody, welcome to week 5. I want you to notice right away that it is not in student mode. This is in teacher mode. I wanted to make sure that I could open some links for you and that they were um, visible. So week 5, I'm going to really quickly just go through. You know the deal by now. If you are not watching these weekly launches, you are losing out on a lot of your marching orders for the whole week. Several of you seemed a little confused about the core concepts test because you hadn't completed the entire module. Some of you didn't listen to the screencast, didn't watch it, and therefore stopped after confirmation bias quiz and thought that was all there was to preparing for the core concepts test. So, lesson learned. Watch the launches every week, like the one I'm doing now. You will have already turned in your summary response paper. So that is now, besides it being graded and turned back to you, it is now behind you. And you're moving on to the next component, which is a definition paper, an argument by definition. Okay, so I start out, here's the launch, and I give you that week kind of, here's what's coming up. Frequently asked questions about the definition paper. What does it look like to contact your professor? When do you and how do you approach your professor about the grade you earned in your summary response, let's say? So there's a protocol for that, all right? Another quickie here, should you use Wikipedia in college? I think you're going to be surprised when you watch a super short little video. What are your quizzes? And They Say, I Say is the chapter 6. Skeptics may object, planting a naysayer in your text. That's adding a concession so that you argue fair-mindedly with, on behalf of your reader, all right? And you'll be able to see what that does for your paper when you engage in that reading and that quiz. We have a discussion coming up. I'm going to have you grade a real student paper on mutual aid. That was their definition. And so you are going to grade it and discuss kind of how you ended up with the grades you ended up with. Here we have the to be verb strategy to upgrade or get rid of the to be verbs. The to be verbs again are be, is, am, was, were, are, have been, being. We kind of throw done and did and go and goes in there because they're such low level expressions. So if you haven't done that, if you haven't figured out how to get rid of your to be verbs yet, you still need to learn that lesson because it's one of the defining, I hate to use the word definition, defining hallmarks, I guess you could say, of a college writer is not going to over depend on low-level helper verbs. You have access to a wide vocabulary, and it's up to you to move yourself out of the low-level expression range. It's going to make your brain hurt a little bit, but that's what college writing is about. It's going to feel different than high school writing. So what you have, I'll get to it in just a second. I'm going fast to kind of give you a blow-by on what all is happening. So you have these strategies you're going to examine, and then there's a quiz. I tell you, with these, the homework or the preparation and the quiz, maybe an hour. Some of you already know this. Most of you don't. Most of you, for some reason, students are trapped by these low-level verbs, and it really makes for a more high school sounding paper. And I don't think that's what you're aiming for in this class. We are going to be doing peer feedback workshops on each other's definition paper. So I give you a thing here. How do you get ready for it? What's even the purpose behind peer feedback? All right, that's a 4-minute read. I have an actual peer feedback document that I designed for this session. It isn't just, underline the thesis and blah, blah, blah. It's very detailed. You will learn a lot about your own paper by giving feedback to your peer and reading their paper. So not only do I show you what the peer feedback looks like, the document, here I go over it with you and tell you what I'm expecting, all right, with that feedback. Do you know how to submit a peer review assignment onto Canvas? Well, if you've never done it, here are the instructions. It's not as hard as you think. All right. You need to have your definition paper rough draft, complete rough draft. It's got to have an introduction, a rough thesis, fully developed body paragraphs and a conclusion. It's not polished. It's not, pristine, but it's got all the piece parts there. You don't want to submit something that has bullet points or telling us what you're going to talk about. You need to have a fully developed, bumpy, yes, but fully developed, all the piece parts there, paper to submit Saturday night by 11:59 p.m. So you submit your rough draft by 11:59 p.m. Canvas is going to pass out all the papers early in the morning so that the next day you'll be able to have access to whoever's paper you're going to do the peer review on. All right, you have to have their paper after you do some peer review and comments and following the peer document, then the peer edit document, then you're going to upload it back into Canvas by Tuesday of next week. Okay, so Tuesday of the following week. So this is coming later in the week, but you absolutely, if you don't submit a paper, you will not be able to take part in the peer edit process or the peer review process, which is really, really helpful. All right, and again, don't upload a paper unless you plan on editing someone else's paper, because otherwise you upload a paper and someone edits it and you don't edit anybody else's. So let's be fair about this. Nobody wants to do free work. It's just the way it is. Here I have a little document on how to refine the focus in your definition paper. Once you get your feedback, your peer feedback returned, you're going to want to refine your focus. Okay, so I think that's all I'm going to say about kind of doing this typical blow-by. Now I'm going to add a second video in which I open the links and tell you more about it. So if you're okay with just this information, you don't need to watch this, part B of the launch. All right. So I'm getting ready to make the second launch. If you want to watch it, I'm going to open all these links, show you what they are, tell you what I'm expecting, and you'll feel really prepared. All right.